Hello, and welcome to this month's edition of InDesign Newsletter, where you learn tips, tricks, and just general things that you can do inside of InDesign. Who am I? I am Andrea Baslatson. I'm an Adobe community professional. I am also a graphic and web design instructor for a college. Now that you know who I am, now that you know what this is, I bet you are waiting to get started. All right. Okay, so let me move this out the way. All right, so Adobe Max is coming. If you don't know what Adobe Max is, it is amazing. I'm telling you, it's one of those things that you have to go live to experience it. A lot of times you'll hear people say they can't describe it because it is indescribable. It is one of those events that is like an immersion of a whole bunch of creativity, and you're around people from all around the world, but just the biggest, brightest, most talented creatives in the world. And not just in design, not just in video, but in like everything. You got creative writers there. You got, I met so many people that it is just amazing. I've been going for a few years and I enjoy every single year. So if you don't know what Max is, and if you have not experienced it, and if it's not in the budget and you won't be there this year, try to see if you can put it in your budget for next year. Because if you're on the fence and you're wondering, is it an event that you should go to? Yes, the answer is yes. Yes, it is. So hopefully I get to see some of you there. And if you see me and you're like, hey, approach me, because I am very approachable. All right, so that's enough about Max. However, not really, because the theme is about Max, and the theme says that Max is coming, because it is. We are less than 10 days away from Adobe Max in LA. So if you're going to be there, just be prepared to be amazed. All right. So the theme of this is Max is coming, because Max is coming. Here's an image that is from Adobe Stock. What we're going to do is we're going to put an image inside of text. So sort of using text as a frame for an image. There are two ways that we're going to do this. We're going to do it in a non-destructive way, which is my favorite way, or a destructive way. And by non-destructive and destructive, I mean that we can do it a way where we can always edit the text, so editable, or we can do it in a way that we cannot edit the text, which is non-editable. There are pros and cons to each. So let's get started and let's see what's going on with that. All right, so we have this Max is coming, and it's a bold font. I think it's Afran, A-F-F-A-R-N, or Afron. I don't know if I said it wrong, I'm sorry. But that's the text that we're gonna use. That's the text that I used for this one. And so what you will see is I have the text kind of laid out, and in both versions, I have a different layout of the text. But I have the text laid out in a way for this. And what I want to do is I want this image to be inside of this text, or I want us to see through to that image. So the text is kind of a frame so that we can see the image beneath. So the first thing I want to do, you'll see that this text is, the box is the default, so it is transparent. I'm going to actually put a fill in here. And if you look at this now, you'll see that this part is transparent because we're seeing the background through it. We're going to go up here and we're going to choose a white fill, which is paper. I'm going to click on that. And now you will see that that box is no longer transparent. So that's step one. Step two, we're going to go ahead and fully cover this image so that the text is what we see and the image is underneath. That's step two. Step three is we're going to go up here to window, and we're going to go down to effects, and our effects panel is going to open up for us. Step four, what I want you to notice is that all of these, so this box was selected, is showing everything that is in that box. So at the object level, because this is the object, right? And then everything is inside of the object. So we have the stroke, the fill, and the text. So what we're going to do, we're going to affect two areas of here. We're going to affect the text. we're going to change that text to be up to an opacity of 0. And so now the text is, we can't see anything at all. We can't see the text because it has no information, right? It's totally transparent. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to click on object, and you'll see that when we click on text, it highlights in blue. When we click on object, it highlights in blue. And so at the object level, we're going to knock out that group of text so that we can see what's underneath. So when we click out this knockout group, you'll see that now we can see that image underneath, which is awesome, right? So I'm going to go ahead and close the effects panel because we're done with it for now. And I'm going to go to the layers panel because what we want to do is we're going to select that image. And now we're going to move. I want to show you that we can move that image around. So I'm going to hold shift and the up arrow, and you can see that you can move that image in, just behind to move it to where you want. So that's kind of cool. All right. So the next way that we're going to, and the other thing that's a benefit, if I double click on this and now we want to say Max was, we can. And when you look at it like this, it looks like we lost that, that effect, but we didn't. So when I click on the black arrow, you'll see that the effect is still there. It was just showing us that text so that we can edit it. Is that not the coolest or what? Now I'm going to change this back to is, because that's what we're saying. Max is coming. Okay. So now you'll see that that text is editable, meaning it is non-destructive, right? And I like that. Okay. So I'm going to, now I see, kind of have a little showing underneath, and that's okay. It's not a big deal. We'll worry about that another time. Now, if I was being anal, which I am, I would probably move that out there. Yeah, I would actually fix it and line it up. So I could do it that way. Or I could select them both and just pretty much align them. So I can line center and I can line this way and see if that fixes it. And it doesn't, which makes me think that I didn't have it fixed before. But that couldn't be true, could it? Maybe. All right. So in any event, I'm not gonna waste time doing that, but that is, I'm very, very, it does bother me, but we'll fix it later. All right, so the next thing we can do is we're going to do it destructively, right? And again, I'm going to go back to my layers panel and I'm gonna go and click on the next layer. So I'm gonna lock, well, I'm not gonna lock it. I'm gonna hide this one and I'm gonna bring the other layer. And this layer only has text in here, which is the Max is coming, okay? So what we're gonna do here is we're going to have to change the text into shapes, okay? So when I click on this, I'm gonna go up here to type and I'm gonna go to create outlines. Because right now you can see that this type is editable, right? I could type, Max was, I don't really know what I'm typing. Max was here and you see that I can edit that type, okay? But what we're going to do is we're gonna go up here to type and we're gonna choose create outlines. And now it is outlines. And the way that you know is we'll click on our direct selection tool, click on it, and we can edit it. So just to show you, if I wanted to, say I wanted to change the eye, I can select the eye, hold shift, select those two dots on that eye. I can bring this up as much as I want. And maybe I want to now just select that point. You notice it's selected because it's the square is solid, right? So I'm going to hold shift and right arrow. I'm going to select this one right here and hold shift and right arrow. I'm going to maybe bring these two down at the bottom just to make it, kind of crazy. And so now I have made changes to that eye. And if I wanted to make changes to this eye, I could do that as well. Maybe move that up a little bit. Maybe I'll do the same with bringing this over. I'm doing the same thing with that shift and the arrows and over. And now I have changed this font by kind of messing with the points in it to create something different. Another thing I might want to do, listen, I get really I find this to be like so fun, and I probably shouldn't, but I do. So I'm gonna bring this down a little bit. Maybe I wanna change that C. Now, all of you who are loving fonts like I do, this is driving you crazy. I know. So let's just say that these are the things that I wanted to do to it for whatever reason. But the point is, you can, modify and alter this text in any way you want. But anyway, I'm gonna select this, and I'm gonna go to, actually, I try to tell myself, leave it alone. But anyway, I'm gonna go to File, and I'm gonna go to Place, and I'm gonna place that same image that I have on the other file. I'm gonna place it inside of this text, kinda, you'll see. So I'm gonna go to File, Place, and I'm gonna wait for it. And then I'm gonna grab that image, okay? And now that image is inside of this text. And with this one, see how when I hover, I get the grabby hand? So what I can do is hover, get the grabby hand, and oops, hold on. And I can move now that image with the grabby hand around inside of here. So see how I'm able to move it a little bit, and all right, so my InDesign is really, I hear my computer making noise. I'm not quite sure if it's gonna let us. But anyway, okay, there we go. So I'm moving this around. So I can move it around until I get it to where I want it to be. Another thing I can do is I can put a stroke on these letters. So I'm gonna go up here, I'm gonna choose black just for the heck of it. And then I'm gonna go to my properties panel, and I'm gonna boost that stroke up just so you can see it. So see that? So I can move this where I want. But another thing about strokes is, notice how the inside of my stroke, I'm losing the detail of these letter forms, right? Well, that's because with the stroke, you can align it to the inside, you can align it to the center, and you can align it to the outside. Well, see this red line right here? That stroke is aligned to the center, and that's the default. The issue with that is when you make that stroke bigger, you're reducing the letter form. So what we can do is I can choose to put that stroke on the outside, and then now the stroke's on the outside versus it being on the inside. But now since it's so big, it's looking kind of crazy. So we're gonna fix that up just a bit because we don't want that. But notice it's on the outside now, and it's looking so much better. Now, if it's on the inside, I'll show you again. This is it in the center, which is default. This is it on the inside, which also takes away from the letter form. And this is it on the outside, which is the desired one that I want for this particular one. So, so strokes are amazing too. There's so much stuff you can do with strokes as well. We're not going into that today, but I'm just saying so much. All right, so I'm gonna keep it at 3. I think I like that. I'm gonna hit W so I can look at it. Actually, I want lower than 3. Let's go more 2. Okay, so if I like that, then there you have it. So, and notice if I double click in here, like I did in the other one, we cannot change that type because it is destructive, but there's a few things that we can do with it, like putting the stroke on it and things like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move this down with that. And I'm gonna go back to our layers panel, hide the properties, layers, and I'm going to go ahead and show that one so that we can see the 2 ways that we have created. So this is our destructive type at the bottom, where we're able to like put strokes and stuff on it. And this is our non-destructive one where we're still able to edit and change the wording. So that's what I wanted to go over with you today, which is pretty much how to bring an image into your text frame, or how to bring an image into a shape. And honestly, I did it with type, and you notice we turned that type into a shape, but you can do this with any shape. If you had a star that you want to put it in, if you had a heart that you want to put it in, if you had, just whatever, you want to put in there, you can, which is super cool because we didn't have to go to Photoshop to do that, right? All right. So that being said, let me go ahead and get my outro ready. So hopefully you liked the video. Hopefully you learned something from it. And if you did and you like these videos, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And more videos are coming out monthly. Again, I am Andrea Bass-Latson, Adobe Community Professional. This is how you can contact me on Instagram, Behance, or YouTube. All right. So I hope to see some of you guys at Max. And again, if you see me, approach me. Just say, hey. And I'm like, hey. And I'm like, what? And then we're going to have a conversation about Max because we're so excited. All right. Until next time, this is our video for today. Until next time, ta-ta for now.